This is Sika.
Shreya.
Flynn.
Kellic.
Oma. Thessaly.
And I'm your DM, Ethan. Welcome to Venture Forth. Previously, you all had made your way to the town of Autumn Hollow. Through a teleportation circle provided by Hayfried and opened by Xavier, you were able to get to the docks of Autumn Hollow in the hopes of chartering a ship to Warwall Harbor, up the coast, past Nubel, and going through the river up to the Venville Rise. As you guys got to the docks, you were surprised by a familiar face, now the captain of the Howat Dugan. And once boarding the Howat Dugan, you were greeted by Paston Broadhammer, now captain, and with first mate, Prala Holiday, you were able to charter the Howat Dugan up north, as this was also the only ship brave enough to brave these cold storms that are now approaching. And you headed out onto the open ocean. With some skillful maneuvering by Kellic, the Howat Dugan was able to nimbly maneuver around these massive chunks of ice that are now forming in the sea. Chunks of ice that would probably not be here normally. But with a certain holiday on the approach and the sun waning in the sky, you continued on as the weather gets colder and colder. You all had begun a long rest, with Kellic and Flynn taking the first long rest, taking the first watch. And as you approach Warwall Harbor, you see it just on the horizon through the cold fog that is rolling in around the city. As you approach, you see off in the distance, on a massive chunk of ice, a frost giant leaning forward, barreling forward with this massive cart being tugged behind him, taking each step across the ice, making his way towards Warwall Harbor. Kellic, you now know that with Warwall Harbor directly in front of you, you need to steer the ship just left to go up the coast to meet up with the river. So, as the rest of the party is trying their best to get their rest, Flynn and Kellic, you are just finishing up your watch. What would you like to do?
I guess I just want to make this turn successfully.
If I can help him in any way, I'd love to try.
Sure. We will start with a survival check from Kellic. And that will be at advantage.
Yeah, I'll
Flynn,
run up to the front of the boat and I'll peer off the edge as best I can and keep my balance and be kind of giving directions. This way, no, close that way.
All right.
That's happening quite a bit, Flynn. Certainly doesn't make me more anxious for you to yell in my ear.
No, right! I said right!
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Nice.
Ow!
Yeah.
So, with the assistance of Flynn, you are able to nimbly maneuver the Howat Dugan through the ice patches. And you can see that they are starting to break apart the closer you get to the coast. It seems that the biggest chunks of ice and the ones that were the hardest to maneuver were sort of out in the middle of this harbor, out in the middle of the ocean between these two chunks of land. So now that you are maneuvering through, you feel like you have a safe course charted north and just a little bit west towards the river.
Looks like we're good for here. For now.
I'm looking around. There's no big chunks of ice kind of clogging up this more narrow passage.
No, at this point, it seems that you have avoided the biggest chunks of ice. Flynn, as you're still peering over the bow, you can see smaller chunks of ice, probably no bigger than you, that are just barely, slowly sort of hitting the bow of the ship and scraping by, but not doing any damage whatsoever. It's nothing to worry about.
We survive a lot of things.
Sometimes barely, but yeah.
Yeah, but it never ceases to make me nervous. Even the little stuff.
I think we'd be used to it by now.
Yeah, some things, I guess.
Well, it looks like we're good. I'm gonna wake some others up.
Yeah,
Rest.
maybe we can pass the steering duties off to the captain or
Yeah.
some such.
We took care of the hard part.
Oh, yeah.
Smooth sailing. And I'll head out and go towards Thessaly and Seeker. They're sleeping next to each other, right?
Yes, there.
And I'll just assume we'll wake them up and then we'll go to bed. So I'll go over to Thessaly and Seeker and just, hey, good morning. Hello.
Is it-
Wait.
It's not morning.
I think it's not morning.
No,
It's still
good morning
night.
though. For you,
Yeah.
for you guys. I'm tired, and Kellic and I kind of took care of the main part of the sailing. Like most of it's kind of just like self-explanatory now. So we think it's safe for y'all to kind of just wake up and
So many words. Okay.
I'll help wake him up. Do we have to do
I don't
anything?
think so. I think Kellic said that the captain can steer. So just keep an eye out for
Okay.
giants and stuff.
Aren't we sort of ocean adjacent? Why would there be giant?
I don't know. I don't question things anymore.
All right. Seeker, wake up.
He has a good point. I'm up.
Okay.
Let's go.
But wake me up if anything happens. If you need anything.
Oh, we will.
Seeker, do you want my sword? Will it keep you safe? And I'll summon my sword.
Fine, I'll take it.
And I'll hand it to him. Bring it back, okay? Don't lose it. And I'll go to bed.
Don't like you. It is a pretty sword.
And I'll lay down.
It's a nice sword.
Keep it safe. And I'll lay down and go to bed.
All right. Thessaly and Seeker, as you wake up, it's pretty close to the middle of the night as you begin your watch. And as you're waking up, the first thing that you notice is just the cold air clinging to any skin that is exposed. Both of you are pretty well covered up, so it's mainly just sort of around your faces and sort of anywhere that this little bit of wind and breeze can sort of make its way into your clothing and cause you to just become a little bit colder than you already are. But the second thing that you notice is the blanket of stars in the sky. You look up and you can see, for at least the time being, the clouds have begun to part, and you can see millions of pinpoint stars in the sky. And as you actually wake up and stand up and sort of look out over the ocean, you can see all of those stars perfectly reflected in the glass-like ocean around you. If you didn't know any better, you would think that you might be floating in space with the amount of stars that are around you. And the only thing sort of showing you that it's the ocean that you're in is the small little ripples that are coming off of the Howit Dugan and the small little chunks of ice that are floating around. So as Flynn and Kellic go to sleep, what would the both of you like to do?
Des, I guess no one is steering the ship, so we should.
Well, I would have passed it. I wouldn't have gone to bed if I wasn't able to pass
Oh,
this.
okay.
For sure.
the
Yeah,
river
yeah,
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the captain. I think that was what we were talking about.
Am I able to do that? Yeah.
Yeah, so the captain was actually awake with you guys, and he's sort of steering it as Kellic, you take your rest.
Okay.
Des.
Yeah.
This water is.
It doesn't even look like water. It almost makes me forget I'm on a boat. I really like that.
It's like we're in the heavens. It's amazing.
Incredible. Been a while since Long Eve.
Yes. A year, I believe.
Yeah. I don't keep track. I really don't. Time
You
passes
don't?
weirdly. No.
Have I
don't-
not ever told you about my family's the ritual?
Oh, you've mentioned it.
I
I've
don't
seen
think
you.
I've been with you during a long eve, actually. So I don't know if we've actually done it.
I guess we haven't. Wait. So what do you do?
My mother makes an intricate braid of representing all of the magics, because Laris is that of magic and the originator of magic. And she makes this wonderful braid. Takes her almost a year to make. She makes their dyes and breads, and it is quite something to look at. And then she holds a wonderful ritual at the end of the long eve, bringing us all together to help us shed our problems with each other or the world. And anyway, it's something I would like to try to do with you and this group, if I can. So I'm going to try and collect some items, and maybe you could help me. I'm looking for different colored string or rope, or I don't really know how to braid, but we can try, you know?
Have you done this before, or was it always your mother?
It was always mother.
All right. Well, I know how to braid, so I can help you with that.
Perfect.
And I will help, and I'll keep an eye out. You should probably ask Flynn too. I feel like he's very good at finding things. He got me this coat, and I
think he's better at taking things that
Oh.
were already his. So then that.
But he has to find them to take them, if you really think about it.
I don't really want to think about it,
Oh,
because
right,
then I
let's
get
not.
mad.
And then you get angry. I really feel like you should be able to let the sword thing go by now. I don't think there was any malicious
I'm
intent.
not mad, but I'm never going to let him forget that I'm mad.
Wait. So you're not angry, but you're never going to let him forget that you are angry with him?
If you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
I think if you really think about it, it would... Never mind.
I spent a lot of time alone before I met you. You know this, right?
I do.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you will help me braid, because I don't know what that is. And yeah, so I just want to be on the lookout for stuff. I'm probably gonna take some purple thread out of my cloak, and I don't know, maybe stuff from the crew. We'll see.
All right. We can ask the crew for help, and I don't know, maybe Olma also knows how to braid. Maybe Shreya knows how to braid.
Oh, Shreya. Oh,
Maybe
he might be
Shreya,
able to help
could
with
he-
different colors.
Yes, he might be able to help you with the dye. Have you ever tried to braid like plant material? Could he do that?
I don't see why not.
All right.
That could work. Huh. Yeah.
Totally do.
This is going to be fantastic.
I haven't done something like this ever.
And I haven't done it in... It's been...
Count. There you go.
Yes, I can count.
Okay.
I was just trying to remember how long it's been
How
since
long?
I've seen my mother. It's been a long... Except for that dream. But it wasn't really a dream, but it was kind... Anyway, it's been a very long time. Okay, that's enough about that. What, You don't like boats. Why don't you like boats?
Oh. I know I'm not really holding that together well. Who
You're
likes
doing
boats?
fine.
I mean, you get sick on them, and there's water everywhere. It's just, who do you like boats?
They are fine.
All right. Well,
You have a very strong distaste.
I do.
Aversion, some would say.
Yes, some might say that about.
You don't have to tell me if you really don't want to, but I'm just curious.
I'll just. Well, but first, are we okay? Because last time we talked, you got very mad at me.
Which time is this?
Oh, remember when, I shoulder checked you and walked off and then ran around the city for like an hour?
Oh, I do remember this, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we are fine, yes.
You're good.
I don't have a problem. I'm concerned for you.
You won't stay mad at me like you stay mad at Flynn.
No, that's just for Flynn.
Oh,
That is a special madness straight for Flynn.
every time I think I understand you, and then you say, never mind. Good. Well then,
I can't stay mad at you.
well that does make me feel a little better. But I got angry.
At me and also a little bit at Kalik.
Well,
Actually, more at Kalik, I think.
I think Kellic needed a little anger thrown his way based on the reckless decision that he made. However, I'm sorry that I got mad at you because I think that was unfair.
Well, accepted. And I would say talk to Kalik about it, but
I don't want to.
I don't. Yeah, maybe you should not, because you had a thing going on with you didn't look very you.
Yes.
That was the more concerning part. It's sometimes when you're mad, but it's really because you're scared, but you don't want people to know that you're scared. Because I can't show that I'm scared. I'm Seeker, I'm pretty tough.
Yes, you're very tough.
Look at
Yes. Real sturdy.
I don't like that tone. And I pull up the hood, the neck on my coat, that nice leather coat I got, pull it up and kind of just hug it tight to myself. Just, what I don't like is the cold. I'm not made for this.
I think we're going to have a lot of that going forward, though.
Don't remind me.
Mountains. I think, right? Mountains? Yes.
Yes.
Rise implies going up. So that makes sense.
And it's probably going to get pretty hairy, pretty tough.
What? I've been wanting to ask you, what exactly is the end goal here? What are we doing?
Well, you came because I asked you, and I came back because, well, like I said, I don't know. I'm figuring it out still. Like, I like them, and I think they make me better. I'm so used to doing this all on my own. And when I say this, I mean like not helping people, but myself. So, I mean, you and me, we did do some good things.
We have.
That felt good.
And so this is just what you're expanding on that now. You're going to make a job out of it. You're going to stop taking things in creative ways and be a hero.
I haven't taken them, and so it's been a while. It's more like there's a term, the fence. You kind of help it get from point A to B. I didn't take it from point A, but I help it get to point B. Anyway, yes, it is. It is a way to, yes, make right, and maybe find my way back to who I am.
That's a big question.
You seem to have picked up on all of this quite easily. So why have you stayed? If you're questioning.
I don't know. First of all, I don't want you running off and getting killed, because when I'm not around, sometimes bad things happen to you, and I will be preventing that. But
I do appreciate that.
These friends of yours, and I guess by association, now mine. That feels weird to say. They seem to be. They want to help people.
Yeah.
And
To a fault, eh? We do some stupid stuff.
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
The cave of mind flayers, dragging people. I mean, who does that?
Flynn, Fellowweave, and Kellic,
And
us now.
yes, we are definitely part of these. Yes, I don't know. I just think we tried to keep them alive. Maybe that's it. That's why
something
we are
I
here.
can do.
They died. We did not
That's
die.
something I can do.
Yes. Okay.
And Seeker,
Yes.
the reason I don't like boats is because the last time I was on one, I didn't think I was going to get to leave.
Were you not there? Did you not choose to be there in the first place?
No.
Does this have to do with your old employment?
And I'm just gonna kind of sit silently. I'm gonna stay quiet. But the stars they're really pretty. They're really nice. They help me forget that we're on water in the middle of whatever this is. I think I can see maybe land, and I'm gonna try to look for land.
All right. As you're looking, I'm going to have both of you just right now. I'm going to have you both make your perception checks for the watch as well as to see the land. It'll just be one roll.
Unless you're like me and you're at disadvantage until you fully rest.
It's still going.
Who would
There,
do
almost
that?
there.
So close.
Oh, that's not good.
I know, what kind of crazy person
Easy person.
would...
Not smart, really.
Yeah,
Six
what
I
kind of
wonder.
person is going to
16
not
for me.
get a good night's sleep
Okay.
You know, I do all
right
the time.
now?
8. Seeker, as you're looking out, you can sort of see through the fog, and it's not necessarily a normal fog. It's a fog that is happening just through the temperature of the air getting so cold that this fog is being created just by the freezing temperatures. And just through the fog, you can see a little bit of land. You can just see sort of a silhouette. And as you're moving further and further up the coast, every once in a while you can just see a little pinpoint of light. Maybe a campfire, maybe a light in someone's home, but just barely. And as you pointed out to Thessaly, you can just barely see it too. And Seeker, as you're looking out, you sort of take a moment, and as you're pointing this to Thessaly, you notice how just almost impossibly quiet it is out here. The Howit Dugan is making not a sound as it's carving its way through the water. Every once in a while, you can just hear a little piece of ice hitting the side of the boat. And then from behind you, way off in the distance, you hear shh. It almost sounds like a chandelier falling and hitting the ground.
Like on the ship or further?
Further out in the ocean. Out to open ocean.
What? I will just back up and quickly, and I'll send Eldra up to Eldra. I heard something behind us. Please take a look quickly.
And as you're communicating this to Eldra, you hear another one. Shh.
Yes, do you hear that?
What? Nope. I was very distracted by what you were pointing to because it means there's land close by.
And another 2.
Okay, you heard that
What?
that time.
That, I hear that.
Flynn, wake up.
No, it was Timmy. Timmy, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was Timmy's fault. What, Timmy? Huh?
We will talk about that later. There's a noise. Captain! Do you hear that?
I do be hearing that out on the horizon. Give me one moment. I'm going to see if I can see what it is.
I'm gonna run. I want to run to the back of the ship and see what I can see.
And as you're doing that, you hear it again. Shh, shh. It's off the left-hand side of the boat, way off in the distance. Not towards the right where the coast is, but way out to sea. And you hear more. Shh, shh, shh.
I want to run over to the port left and look and see what do I see? Do I see?
All right.
anything?
Could I run up that way too now that I've woken
Yeah,
up?
I'm going to have both of you make
What's going on?
a perception check.
Check out the way. I don't have dark vision, I don't believe, so I don't know if you want me to do it as a disadvantage. As a back out.
No, this will be a straight roll.
Okay. And you said perception?
Yes.
15.
Seeker, 15?
16.
16. Okay. Seeker, you look out and you can just barely see a couple of silhouettes, and they're sort of spaced out. And then after you see a couple, it almost looks like something way off in the distance, jumping out of the water, going back in. And you see another one. And on the third one, some light from a star just barely hits it in the right way, and you just catch a reflection for the briefest moment before it goes back under the water. Almost looks like fish jumping up and out of the water.
You woke me up for fish?
Almost
For
looks like fish.
Looks like fish, but like more reflective. And then you see a couple breach the water even closer to the boat.
How big are they?
Even closer to the boat. As they get closer and closer, all of these fish begin to rise and jump up out of the water, the size of probably a couple feet in length, the size of a pretty decent-sized tuna.
Oh.
But as they get closer and closer, and as they begin to jump out of the water closer and closer to you, you can see as they emerge from the water, they breach the water with a slight splash. And as soon as they breach the water and get out into the open air, for maybe a second or two are making their arc through the air is so cold that ice crystals immediately form on the outside of the fish before they dive back into the water. And as soon as they hit the water, the ice that is encapsulating them explodes around them and dashes out onto the water, making a sound like
the
a chandelier falling.
That's really cool.
And as this massive pod of fish begin jumping out of the water, you can see that they've got these lines running through them, this bioluminescent green. As they begin hopping out of the water, you can see more and more of them. And you watch for a minute, and 5 become 10, become 20, become 100, become several hundred of these fish jumping out of the water, ice shattering as soon as they hit the water once again. And you can see just in the middle of this pack of tuna, a massive piece of ice, a huge chunk, slowly beginning to rise out of the water. Just a couple feet at a time.
Okay, not fish. What is that?
All right. And I'll make my way over to them.
Okay. You just see it looks like a massive iceberg just beginning to make its way out of the water. The tip of it that just comes out, not that big, but as it continues to rise and rise, the diameter of this iceberg gets bigger and bigger. Pretty soon it's the size of the Howat Dugan. Pretty soon it's twice the size
How close is it?
of the Howat Dugan. It's probably a couple 100 feet off the port side of the boat.
And it seems to just be like appearing from
It seems to just be
nowhere?
rising up out of the water, floating up out of the water.
Captain,
I see it.
have you ever seen something like it before?
I have never seen anything quite like this before. Normally the icebergs are at the top of the water.
Right. Can we go faster?
I'll see what I can get from these sails. All crew! And as the two orcs wake from their rest, they come out to the top of the ship. They begin climbing the masts. Oma, you can feel sort of the mast begin to rock back and forth as you're sort of rocked awake. As the sails are unfurled, and you all feel this brief jolt of the boat beginning to go faster and faster as the iceberg continues to rise out of the water, and more of these tuna begin jumping out of the water, almost seeming to try and escape this iceberg that's now forming.
Well, it seems like they're running from it.
It seems that they're trying to get out of the water away from the iceberg. As you look, and you can see just in front of the iceberg, two massive jaws begin to open up.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And you can tell its size just by the slowness of how it moves as it opens up and closes around as many of these tuna as it can get.
The iceberg has a mouth, is what you're saying?
What is that?
But you can see that the mouth is not made of ice. And as it rises up and further out of the ocean, and it takes in hundreds of gallons of water alongside these tuna, you can see the massive jaws of what looks like the biggest turtle you have ever seen, as you see a dragon turtle breach
What?
and eat as many of these tuna as you can. And as it sinks back underneath, its head drops back underneath, and the iceberg continues moving towards the tuna. You begin to see, it's still a couple 100 feet out, so you can't quite pick it out, but you can just start to see these specks on the iceberg that you can see is now, the iceberg itself is now forming the shell of this dragon turtle. And as you see these specks moving around the iceberg, they look humanoid. They look bipedal. They look probably about your size.
What?
Flynn, do you see that?
I'm kind of glad you woke me up now. What is that?
Yeah, I don't just wake you up for no reason.
Okay, good.
It looks like people on a turtle.
Yeah, but they were under the water first, so how are they... Is it coming towards us?
It's moving parallel to the direction that you guys are moving. It is not necessarily moving directly towards you. It's inching a little bit closer. It's maybe a little bit closer than it was a couple minutes ago, but it is not making a line towards you.
Does it seem... We're in the the river part of this now yet.
You're still on the coast.
We're still on the
You
coastline.
have not made it to the river yet.
Well, does it seem like it's gaining, or now that the sails are down, are we going faster? Are we?
It seems like with the sails up now, you are keeping pace with it.
Keeping pace.
Yeah.
Boy. Oh boy.
Do like the bipedal humanoid people? Do they look like they're in? I guess, do they look aggressive towards it, or do they look like they're working with the turtle?
You can see that they are like moving around the iceberg. It doesn't
Okay.
seem that they are moving in any sort of frantic way. It looks like they're moving freely.
Okay.
Does it look like everyone's awake now? I would imagine. Everyone's awake.
All right.
Okay. And based on where I'm looking around at the boat, has the captain called any of the crew into like a formation to be aggressive, or like a combat formation for the boat, or is that
It
not
looks like
happened?
the captain is just trying to steer the boat.
Steer the
and
boat
sort of,
away.
making his way a little bit closer towards the coast, towards shallower waters.
Okay, I'm gonna yell down to the captain. Captain, they mean us no harm. We can pass by safely.
I don't think I'm going to be taking your word for that. Sorry. He like continues hand over hand moving the steering wheel over towards the coast.
No, keep your distance. I'm not saying don't keep your distance. What I'm saying is, these are beings who call this bay home. They're just going about their lives. They mean us no harm.
I will, until you can talk to him, I think I'm going to continue steering this way.
Sure, I haven't spoken to many of their kind in over a year, maybe 2.
Seeker, you said you sent Eldra out to sort of take a look?
Yeah.
Okay, as Eldra makes her way closer and closer, Eldra's got dark vision, correct?
Yes.
So that would only serve to enhance what she can see. And are you looking through Eldra's eyes at this moment?
No, I'm not. I
No,
would
you're
have
not?
just sent her to come back and report back.
Okay. Then Eldra is still making her way out there.
Okay. Hearing that, Shreya, you are familiar with these creatures?
I think so. I'm going to look toward the floating iceberg, and I'm going to squint. I'm going to see how far, so that I can see if I can make out these humanoid figures
I'm
on the
gonna
top
have you
of it.
make a perception check at advantage for me.
That's what I'm worried about. It's just, what are these humans doing on this thing?
Yeah.
Or humanoid?
Is it a boat?
Maybe.
Ship, but it's a turtle ship.
Underwater boat. What would we call
Dirty
that?
21.
Dirty 21. Okay, you look out and you can see a sight that you had only seen once before, and not necessarily on this side, not in this ocean here, but you had seen it sort of to the east more in the Carnarvon Sea as you were heading south. These are Triton, who you know sometimes in these waters specifically make alliances with dragon turtles as sort of a mutually beneficial agreement. And you can see, as you're looking further and further, you can see that that aqua skin, like laced with almost fish scales that you know Triton have. You can see the blue and the green hair coming down. And as they move along the iceberg, you can see that they are heading down further towards the water, from the top towards the water. As you can now see, several of them have spears in their hands. Several of them have nets. And you can see, as these tuna now jump up and out of the water, you can see these Triton throwing their spears and attempting to capture some of these tuna. You can see some of the Tritons throwing their nets out, trying to capture even more. And you can see a couple of the Triton, as they throw their spears, the spears don't quite hit their mark, and they hit the ice on the outside of the tuna and are jettisoned out off to the side of this protective armor of ice on the tuna. But then a couple of them you can see hit their mark and hit them more towards the head of the tuna, as you can see them hunting this pack alongside the dragon turtle, who is once again breaching the surface and taking a massive gulp of water with hundreds of tuna now in its mouth.
Zika, these beings are known as Tritons. They are very proud beings, and my kind have always respected them, and they've always respected us. We have a unwritten agreement. You stay out of my feathers, we'll stay out of your scales.
Okay.
I have not always followed that agreement.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I know these ones in particular, but I have made contact with their kind before.
Are you on some kind of a list? Like, should we put you away?
Oh no, I tend to enjoy communicating with them when the opportunity arises, but we have other things to attend to right now.
Okay, we can talk more about that sometime, I think. But you're saying we are good and we don't have to...
As long as we keep our distance.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
not going to try and steer towards us and attack us or anything?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, Captain, you hear that?
I still steering towards the land if you don't mind.
Good call. Good call.
Good call, please, yes.
Yep.
To the,
Please
to the
do.
river.
All right. Well, I guess we're okay then.
I won't look through Eldra's eyes, but I will ask her to, on your way back, if you could, maybe try to catch one. It might be tasty.
It is said that the tips of their spears are particularly sharp. They can pierce through even the hardest armor.
Oh,
Okay, never mind. Please
Let's-
don't disregard that. Just come.
Maybe not steal their fish. Oh, they're not going to attack us. Well,
I was
let's
like,
steal all their fish. I'm down.
Oh no, I wasn't saying bring back a Triton. I was saying bring back
fish, a fish.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's their game.
They're going to see that. And be like, what the heck, man? I was aiming at that one.
I wanted that one.
And as you continue on to stare down this spectacle happening in front of you, after about half an hour, the dragon turtle and the massive iceberg on its shell begin to descend once again into the ocean. Bubbles begin forming up, and it almost sounds like rain with the amount of activity and water that's being stirred up. But after another couple minutes, you can see the Triton now clinging to the iceberg, sort of brace themselves as they head back into the water and out of sight. As the water calms once more, after a couple more minutes, the boat begins to rock back and forth just from the residual waves that have now made their way from the iceberg breaching.
Cool.
As you continue on up the coast, and you all look out to the front of the boat, and you can see just up the coast a break where the river turns right, and a river makes its way up into the land itself. So, as you all see that, who is going back to sleep?
Me.
I'm gonna,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on watch,
Mhm.
I think.
Yes, it is still the middle of Thessaly and Seeker's Watch. So what would you both like to do?
I'll just walk back over this, and I've seen more of the world with these people than I've seen in all of my years. That was pretty amazing. It was terrifying. Like, it was a big turtle that ate all of the fish, but it was fascinating, and that is pretty cool. Also, maybe not second, but they have really good hearts, and I think they are trying
They
to do good stuff.
I think they're trying. Absolutely.
We all mess up sometimes.
Don't I know it?
Yes, you do.
I apologize for earlier.
Oh, I was,
And you said you forgave me.
yeah, I'm not.
You
I'm not
said-
mad. I'm not mad. I'm just reminding
Okay.
you, like kind of like a little sister, like letting you know with the.
A little sister?
Well, you're shorter than me.
Not by much. And I could pick you up.
If you can catch me.
And I just stay quiet because I'll concede that point because I know I can't catch you. Well, I guess I should try to walk around the deck. I could practice that.
That would, you could get familiar. This seems like a good boat, and the captain seems to. Ooh, don't you go talk to the captain?
Maybe that would. Yes, let's go talk to the captain. Let's do that. That's something to do.
As we make our way over, I kind of want to pull out my scroll, remembering that like sometimes people write things on it, and I just want to have it out. I just want to look at it, like, oh, is it silver or gold? And make my way over and say, I don't think we've officially met. I am Sika.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
You take out your scroll,
Yes.
and you do notice
Oh.
that you have a message.
Hey.
Oh, Des, look at this. Someone has used it.
Oh, yes. Someone used it.
Okay,
Mhm.
let me open it. Oh, and I
All
will
right.
do so.
And in very familiar handwriting to you, sort of this very elegant, with some flourishes at the end of each word, lines written perfectly straight across. You know this handwriting pretty well. It says and the whole page is pretty much covered in writing, and so all of the writing is sort of just these little notes, almost, just to jam in all the information.
Yeah.
Just got word that a group by that description made a mess in Oakenspire. Don't know current whereabouts. We are unable to track them. We have stockpiles in Westreach. Must have coin or influence to acquire. And then in parentheses right next to it, or quiet footsteps. Next line. Benton glass. Allows user to focus on 2 things at once. Can concentrate on 2 spells without hindrance. Highly addictive. Primary export of Eastbaron. Used religiously by Strata Priana. Signed, Siren.
Oh, yes. Remember, I told you I have a good friend in Westreach that is somewhat important.
Yes.
Such good hand. Look at this handwriting.
It is
that's
beautiful. I mean,
Elegant.
maybe,
It's-
that's probably why you read their message, because it doesn't look like chicken scratch, which is what mine looks like when I write. So I
Actually,
understand
chicken
now.
scratch is a little nicer than yours. But that's not why I don't read yours. I just forget. I sent Siren a message
Mhm.
a long time ago when Eldra was a long time, and I was looking. Well, firstly, I was looking for these our friends, because they're not quiet, and well, it turns out he found them, and I was looking for something for you to help you be more quiet, and also still have the armor thing so that you're strong, which it sounds like it's found, and also the glass. The glass that we found.
The Benton glass, yes.
Turns out it's super cool. You can do 2 things at
Wow.
once, like 2 spells at once, which is super cool. But it's very addictive,
Oh.
so we should not give it to. By the way, when I say that when I'm talking to Hayfried and I offer, I'm lying to my teeth. I'm not really going
I
to.
don't think that we should lie to Hayfried, though. That seems like a
Sometimes we need to get things, and he has them.
All right, well, but I think part of doing good and making right and being part of a team is lying less, because that's exactly what you got mad at Flynn for, is he lied to you.
I don't like where this is going.
You don't like that I made a good point. That's what you don't like. Just something to think about. Let's not lie to Hayfried, but let's definitely not give him more Benton glass. We can give him other things. You're good at finding magical items and things that are interesting.
True. Okay, fine. We won't lie. I won't lie anymore. You're right. It is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Similar.
We can say similar if you're more comfortable with that word.
It's not exactly the same.
It's not the exact same situation, no, but essentially you would be offering Hayfried something. He really did seem too eager for that. Did you notice? He
Yes.
seemed very eager to get more. I was concerned. I think he's used it.
However,
before.
it does sound like something that maybe it could be useful for someone. Anyway,
Mhm.
let's go talk to the captain.
Yeah, let's do that.
What was his name?
Oh, his name was...
Captain. Hello, Captain.
Hey, what can I do for ye?
My name is Sika. I don't think we've actually met. This is my good friend Des.
My name is Captain Paston Broadhammer. It is a pleasure to meet the both of you. You were not part of my crew previously, but it is always a pleasure to see new faces.
Great.
The energy.
No. No, we weren't part of your crew before. No. Good to meet you. Thank you for the passage. Just wanted to say hello because your ship is lovely. It is very
Aye, she's a beauty, ain't she?
absolutely fantastic. But that is all. Just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. You're not really much of a talker, are ye?
No. How much longer do we have on your
she
beautiful
loves
ship?
boats.
I say we have probably until maybe an hour or two into morning.
All right. Good to know. Yep, pretty boat.
It's almost painful to hear you talk.
I thought I could do this, and I can't.
That's-
I'm so sorry. I want to go back now, Secret. Can we
I'll
go
just
back
put my
to the
hand on.
railing?
I'll just put my hand on your shoulder and just pat it. Just it's okay. It's not that bad.
I don't know how to talk. I hate the boat, and I don't know how to
You're a
talk.
little harsh. Question: Do you ever move like goods, like fabrics or strings, yarns? I'm looking for some different type of. I'm looking for some rope or string, something of that nature.
We don't have much in the way of rope or string, but in the cargo hold, we are currently transporting a number of fabrics and blankets and things of that sort to bring up to the people of the north now that it's getting a little more chilly.
That could be perfect. Well, I don't want to take it from the people who need it, but I might, maybe if I could buy some or trade for some.
Sure, if you'd like to purchase some off of me, I'd be willing to lighten my load.
Oh, that'd be odd. Do you have any that is, hold on. Maybe, do you have any that is blue or yellow in color?
Blue or yellow? I mean, I can go down
and you can let me know later. You don't have to tell me now. You're driving the ship.
Sure,
Do that.
I would say this is sort of important. We don't want to
Just a little.
crash.
We don't want to hit. It's gone. The thing that was there. We don't. But later, if you do, it would be great.
Aye, most definitely.
Thank you. I'm gonna make sure Thess is okay.
Yeah, I had. So in the middle of that, after he said it was painful for me to talk to him, I walked over to wherever like the closest rail was, and I'm just like got my head on the rail, like looking down at the floor at my feet. I'm like, I thought I could talk, and I couldn't do it. It's just so bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It was really bad. He said it was really bad.
Okay, it's okay.
And as you're looking over the side of the ship, you see that the land is getting closer and closer to you. As finally you are making your way now into the mouth of the river, and you can see land on both sides as the water is taking you further and further up the river.
Should we wake up the next crew so we can get some sleep?
I think it might be time. I think I should not be conscious anymore. Let's go. Who's next though?
You are very hard on yourself. Next, see, it was I think Shreya and Olma. No,
Yes, yes,
Alma,
that's right.
Alma never agreed to take watch.
I'm still.
We don't know
Because there are because
And
you
actually, as your guys' watch is coming to an end, Olma, I'm going to have you make a
don't freezy check.
A
freezy check. Yeah,
Easy check.
just a Constitution saving throw.
Did we need 3 watches?
Yeah.
Because you said we're halfway through the night when
Also,
they were woke
we have a
up.
crew. There's a boat crew. So
And if you guys were watching for 4 hours, I don't know.
13.
13. You are shivering the entire time. You are going in and out of consciousness. You are not able to get your rest.
Was trying to meditate though while I was. So I was doing because at the end of last session I was meditating on kind of the long eve and like trying to like conserve and bring myself into my core. And
Okay.
Just a reminder that was what was
Okay,
happening
yes.
before all of this.
Okay. I mean, still with that Constitution check, you are
fine,
not
that's fine. I'm
you
just
are not able
informing
to
you
get the proper, at least like meditation or restful period. Might not necessarily be sleep, but you are not able to fully maximize your rest period during that time.
Okay.
As we're shutting down, I'm gonna rub my left ear, the copper earring, and just Olma, where are you? I think it. I don't know if you're taking a watch, but if you are, this would be the good time for you because I'm going back to sleep. Attempting to send a message to Olma.
Cool. Message sent.
Okay, message sent. All right. You don't hear back from Olma. You don't see her. What are you guys doing?
What'd she say?
Nothing. Super
Oh.
strange. I don't know where she went.
Well, she's probably
Maybe
a
she's
sleep
down below
seeker.
sleep. Oh, but okay. Where? Let's go get Shreya. He's up by the.
All right. She's a child. She's tired. Let her sleep.
I will go to Shreya and gently rustle those feathers.
You can't take that from me, I'll hold on to all of your gems and mine. Yes.
Shreya.
Hello. Yes. Have we reached the mountains?
Were we having a good dream?
It was conflicted, but I think I was winning.
Good for you. You are up for the watch.
Oh, yes, indeed. Okay. Is anyone joining me for this watch, or am I going to...
Tried to find Oma, but she did not.
You're in luck. I will be awake with you.
Ah,
You
yes,
look over
Captain.
And you see the captain who, at this point, has not slept a wink. And you can see it. You can see him like with this glass vial in his hands, swishing around, sort of like this orangish liquid, this sort of opaque orange liquid swirling around. And you can see that he's drank most of it, and like his right eye is twitching a little bit.
You have to deal with these types in a certain way. I'm going to whisper over to Seeker. Meet Broadhammer with brimstone. And when I say brimstone, I clench my staff and a little bit of fire pops out the top of it.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, well, have fun with that. I'm going to go to bed.
I don't want you to be doing that on my ship anymore.
Ah, yes, of course.
I don't know if you've noticed, but this ship is made of wood.
Very true. It tends to happen when I get particularly passionate, so hopefully the watch goes off without a hitch and doesn't happen again.
You've already almost had one mistake on this boat, and I'm not going to let it happen again.
All right, have fun. Bye.
No, Broadhammer. When was the last time you took a trip like this on... Well, civilizations call it the Long Eve, correct? Yes.
I like to make myself a habit of traveling on every long eve. It's sort of my own little tradition. Sort of tempting death and seeing what I can get away with. It really invigorates me for the next year to know that I'm here for a purpose, that the gods will not have me yet.
No one's better than Paston. I'm sorry.
A tradition of bucking fate, eh? I tend to agree with that sort of tradition.
I see the long eve as a bull fast approaching. And only my steady feet can move the bull from trampling me over, and I have not let that bull trample me yet.
The bull being the sea, I would assume.
The bull being death, my child!
Oh, yes, death. Death in all its forms. Be it the sea, the storm, or the flame. And I'm going to clench it again, and fire's going to pop out again. Oh, sorry.
I told you not to do that on my boat!
Right,
As he,
right.
Shakily takes another sip of his drink.
Say there, Broadhammer. What type of liquid are you imbibing there?
This is my own special brew.
You made it yourself?
Yes. Would you like a swig?
Well, yes, why not?
Don't say no! Take the bottle, boy!
I'll take it, all right. And I'm gonna grab it and take a meager little sip at first.
Okay.
And is there a dosage? I need to remain alert. We have a lot going on in the next 24 hours.
I'd say take a sip.
All right, I'm gonna open my beak a little wider and knock back what would be a sip.
All right. And as you do, immediately you feel like over the last couple minutes, you were asleep. Now you're sort of still in that waking up process. Your head is sort of just a little bit fuzzy still, but immediately it snaps you out of it and you feel fully alert, fully awake. You don't feel like you need any more rest.
Excuse me. That is quite the tonic you have there.
Quite the rush, doesn't it? Shakes you to your bones.
And I am, in fact, shaking. My feathers are vibrating. A few feathers are like falling off of me. My eyes are going very wide. And the pink sort of crystalline statue of the Fae at the top of my staff is actually, if you looked at it closely enough, starting to squint, and the mouth starts to grit itself a little bit. Broadhammer, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a quick once around the ship, see if anything's coming.
Okay, walk it off. It's your first time.
And I'm gonna really quickly just take off and do as I ascend into the sky. I'm gonna do some flips and some. I'm just gonna exhale, metaphorically, a lot of this energy while attempting to just do what I said I would do, which was actually scan the area around the boat to see if there's anything coming.
Okay, I'm going to have you make a perception check for me.
Great. Another dirty 21, jeez.
Okay. As you're looking out the side of the boat, and you're actually flying around the boat,
Yes.
as you're flying around the boat, you start to see, once again, this bioluminescent green within the water. But it's not moving or swimming like the fish were. You see it almost stationary. And it takes your eyes a second to adjust, but eventually they do. And you can actually see down into the water where these bioluminescent lights are coming from. And you can see almost like underneath the water, more towards the shores of the river, you can see what almost looks like sunken houses. You can see these little huts underneath the water. And with the ripples of the water, it's a little bit tough to see. But then as you make your way around the back of the boat, as you're flying, you see a couple creatures, humanoid, near the back of the boat. You see them swimming through the water. You see a group of 5 Triton swimming through the water, catching that stream of water that is being caused by the boat, sort of streamlining themselves just behind the boat. And you can see one dive off to the side. You can see one of the bioluminescent tuna underneath their arm as they jut off to the side and head over towards these sunken huts underneath the water. And you can see them swim into one of them. And you can see another Triton come up behind the boat and almost using the boat as momentum to carry them up the river. You can see another one join the back of the boat as another one takes off with another tuna. And you can see them going into these different underwater huts, just barely glowing from this green and blue. And every once in a while, you can see this orange and red bioluminescent light.
I am going to corkscrew around. I'm going to have the hue of light coming out of the crystal at the top of my staff. I'm going to direct it forward to mirror that kind of light. I'm going to approach them in a slow glide, and as they continue to make the rounds of their hunting, fishing, I'm going to cast Bear's Endurance on any one of them that I think might look to be like struggling a little bit.
Okay. Can you tell me what Bear's Endurance does?
It's basically just enhance ability, the enhance ability spell.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. You do see at one point, you see that there is, as most of the Triton that are coming up behind the boat do seem to be adults, sort of that adult size of a Triton. But after a minute, you do see what looks like 2 Triton swim up behind. And after closer inspection, you can see what looks like, most likely, a father and a son. The son probably in his younger teenage years, but both of them swimming with spears in their hands. And the father is sort of streamlining himself, and he's using his webbed feet to kick back and forth, and you can see that he's keeping up with the boat. But the son is probably not quite as versed in swimming with a spear. He's not probably as versed swimming without both of his hands. You can see he starts to drift a little bit behind, but then after your spell is cast, you can see his legs begin to kick a little bit harder. The water is moved behind him even more, and he catches up with his father as they both continue on with the boat for a little ways longer.
And this is just for flavor. Not that we would witness any of this, but he'd have advantage on any con check he makes in the next hour, and also has 6 additional hit points.
Okay.
Hey.
And
Very
then
good.
I'm going to sweep back up around the boat. And just for location's sake, check in are we kind of in the brackish water that's at the mouth of this river, or have we proceeded into the river proper now?
In the river itself, but
Okay.
the river is still very wide. It's
Okay.
almost, if you weren't looking very closely, you would probably think that you were still in the open ocean, but you can just barely see sort of the land on either side. It's a very wide river.
And I would imagine on one side of it, we can also see the town of Newbill a little bit more clearly, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. You are just at this point passing the town of Newbill. And from what you know, Newbill is not as active of a port town as some of these other towns that you have been to recently. They are just a little bit sort of situated in between the coast, the river, and the Brosby Wood, just sort of at a distance where they can reach all three things. So they're not directly adjacent to any one thing. You can see a couple of houses and huts sort of along the river, but you know that the town proper is a little bit further in, a couple miles further in.
Okay. I'm gonna clock the town itself as I'm guessing there's like light emerging from some of those areas as well. Yeah. And a sweep back down over to Broadhammer and say, I'm not sure if Newbill was one of your stops, but we are passing by it at the moment.
No, we're heading to Warwall Harbor. That was our main port, which we're going to be hitting a few hours late, but anything for my friends!
Yes, and we certainly do appreciate the depth of your generosity, Broadhammer.
Well, to help you all. The children will probably get their blankets a little bit late.
Oh.
But what matter is that when you're helping friends?
Yes, we'll toughen their hide, I suppose, and could that be a bad thing?
I was left out in the cold for nearly 3 weeks by my parents before I was let back inside. That's given me a hearty exterior that I still have to this day.
Trial by ice, I can relate. Well, Broadhammer, do you foresee any more danger ahead on this particular stretch of river? I haven't traversed it much myself.
I'll tell ye, normally when there's danger ahead, my bones start to tingle. I can feel it in my knees. Luckily, I do not feel my knees tingling at the moment. It seems to be a smooth sailing from here.
Well, if your knees are any guide, I must admit I've never heard
No, wait.
What?
I can... Achoo! Oh, never mind. That was just a sneeze.
May Elduria guide you, keep you from harm or illness.
Thank you, yeah, I guess.
There's a habit. Let me think. Yes, if your knees are any guide, let's hope that no danger befalls us anytime
They
soon.
haven't steered me wrong yet.
Your knees haven't.
No.
They look like sturdy knees indeed. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna look at his knees a little bit more closely. Do I sense any kind of magical anything emanating from his knees?
They're knees.
They're just knees. Okay.
They're just knees.
I'm gonna wink at. I'm gonna look him in the eye and wink at him and say, I think there's something special going on in those knees of yours. I'm glad that you trust them.
And he just sort of looks down at his knees and, like, with a very, prideful smile, looks up at you and nods.
Well, Broadhammer, it's been a pleasure journeying with you. If I don't get the chance to say that to you before we arrive.
I with you as well. And hopefully none of you switch bodies again.
Oh, yes.
At this point, the highest compliment that I can give at this very moment is that you don't switch bodies with someone else and then have to figure out that whole situation again.
Yes, being that we are a strange group, I can say that those were probably some of our strangest moments.
Aye. Well, if you would like to continue looking out, we have a few more hours of travel. I can steer the boat. If you'd like to continue being the eyes.
I am glad to be the eyes. Also, just so you know, if you ever need a boost or a increase of speed or direction, perhaps toward the sails, I have, let's just say wind is my ally.
I mean, if you think you can get us there quicker.
Absolutely.
I never say no to a more speedy travel.
With that, I'm going to go ahead and cast Gust of Wind at 2nd level into the sails.
Okay.
As I feel the additional gust, I just completely give up on meditating altogether. I just am shaking to my bones. I'm have my hoods up. I stand up angrily. Can't even meditation. Can't even do it. And I slowly make my way down the mast.
All right.
That should do you, Broadhammer.
We are making good time. All right, and with that, Shreya, I'm going to have you make one more perception check just for the end of your watch here.
Sure.
And Olma, as you're coming down, what are you doing?
I see everyone sleeping, and I'm just like angrily like shuffling. And I see that, like Shreya's awake and Paston's awake, and I'll just make my way towards the mast to see kind of how much longer we've got going on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Shreya, what was that perception?
That's a 28 on the perception.
28.
Wow.
Woo! Okay. You are looking out. You continue to see these underwater huts for a little ways. It looks like a pretty major city underneath the water here. But eventually you do pass it. Overhead, the Triton sort of steer off in their own separate ways. You don't have any following you anymore. And both you and Olma both observe the river getting more and more narrow as it's coming to its end. And over the course of maybe the next couple hours,
Yeah.
you're probably going to see the end of the river.
I'm completely bleary-eyed because I haven't had any sleep, and I'm like rubbing my eyes. Paston,
Aye!
why is it so cold?
Because that be the weather.
Yeah. Do you ever try to meditate?
Paston, the father figure.
I tried it in my 20s, but I wasn't very good at it.
Yeah, I'm not good at it either. And now I haven't had any sleep, and I'm so tired, and I'm so cold. My bones are so cold. And my knees are starting to hurt, and it's making me feel like Kellic again.
Your knees?
Yeah. But also my elbows and my wrists.
Not your elbows, too. Girl, you need to listen to what your body is telling you. There's danger ahead.
True.
My body just tells me I need more sleep. Do we have like another 8 hours on this boat? Because like I really need it.
Unfortunately, we don't. For you, I could perhaps do a couple of circles right here.
Really?
And postpone our arrival at our destination.
For like another 8 hours?
I'll see what I can drag it out to, but I'm not positive.
Oh my god. No.
As he like runs over to the steering wheel and hand over hand starts turning the boat around.
It's okay. We have to get there, but I just don't know what to do now.
Well, if you don't know what to do, here I've got a little tip for you.
Oh yeah?
He kneels down. Help me unfurl the masts! That'll keep you hardy for the cold! Movement, girl! That is what's gonna keep you going!
But I can barely move. I'm so tired and I'm so cold.
All I'm hearing here are excuses. Are you gonna do the work with me or not?
I'm cold.
Okay, make a puppy dog eyes check.
Love that.
Make a whatever check you're trying to make this. Just let me know.
So chaotic.
I'm not really sure what I'm trying to do here.
Persuasion.
Persuasion? Natural 20.
There we go.
This is the first natural 20 of the year of the new year.
Yeah.
Perhaps work is not what you need at this moment. Okay, follow me. As he walks over and goes down into the hull of the ship.
Okay, I'll follow.
And as you follow, he goes into the captain's quarters. And first he goes over towards like where you can see his bunk is. And at the very end of the bunk, he opens up this massive chest. And you can see within it like piled high with like furs and coats and like extravagant stuff. And he pulls one out. And it is a little bit big, but it just looks like this sort of large brown fur, almost blanket.
Okay.
He wraps it around your shoulders, and immediately you start to warm up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he leans over towards you, and his eye starts twitching even more. and he says, "What I'm about to show ye, you cannot show anyone else. It is my secret stash." As he walks over
okay.
towards a cabinet.
I won't tell anybody.
He walks over towards a cabinet and opens up this cabinet, and you can see vials and glasses of this, just this orange liquid. That's all it is.
Whoa!
And you can see like 15 of them are completely empty.
Wow. Whoa. Hey, I've used these before.
Have you?
Yeah. Once I accidentally... Oh, well, I didn't want to sleep because I was worried about nightmares. Because I did something really bad. But it kept me awake all night, and I was fine, and I didn't feel anything about it.
Now let me tell you this. You have no reason to fear nightmares. Nightmares should be afraid of you!
Yeah.
And take that attitude with you in any aspect of your life. Now here, drink up. Take a few hearty swigs. As he hands you one of these bottles.
Aston.
Yeah, I took it down.
You chug down one of these bottles, and very similarly, the effects fully wake you up.
Yeah.
And as you can feel, morning probably just a few hours away, you don't feel like you need any rest at this point.
Yeah, I throw my arms around Paston's waist. Thank you so much, Paston.
Hey! Don't tell anybody that we hugged. It's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. No, I won't tell anybody about anything. I know nothing, and I saw nothing, and I did nothing.
Good girl. As he pats you on the head. Go back to work!
Yeah, back to work.
As he runs back up and takes helm of the ship once more.
Is that a long rest? Did you just get a long rest?
Yeah, it's a potion that does a long rest.
It's a
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
long rest in a bottle.
Crazy.
Yeah. I had one before.
Yeah. All right, then. With that, Olma, are you doing anything else? Shreya, are you doing anything else?
I'll follow. I'm gonna wrap the blanket like around me and like a toga to try and keep myself warmer. But gotcha. I'm gonna help whatever Paston tells me to do. I'm gonna do.
Can you remind me what winter clothes you have and what effects they
I
have?
just had standard, from what I recall, mine weren't gonna give me any effect at all.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So
I don't have any additional effects written down.
Gotcha. So that would just mean that if you are doing a Constitution check or saving throw against the cold, if you were just wearing normal clothes, that would be a disadvantage. Now, what clothes you have now bring you up to just a straight roll.
Okay.
But now that you have this, you are now at advantage
Nice.
with
okay.
any condition checks that have to do with the cold.
Okay.
Now that you have these 2 layers on.
Right, but I probably wouldn't wear this when I'm traveling because it's like a blanket, right? It's not a coat or anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
You would have to drag it.
It's like
pretty
a
much.
sleeping blanket.
Yes.
Yes.
But at least for now, you feel warm.
For now.
You feel more comfortable.
Totally. Thank you.
Okay. Shreya, are you doing anything else?
Yeah, so I'll be in whatever position Paxton had indicated for me to be casting that gust spell so that it kind of keeps propelling the sails. But on my one hand, that will be kind of emanating out of the tip of the crystal in this cyclone form at first, and then spreading out as I'm channeling it to touch the corners of the sail, kind of like as close to hand and glove kind of metaphor as possible with the wind to the sail. But with my other ear, I'm going to be leaning out over the side of the boat, listening to this faint, echoey song that I might have also heard from when the Fae whispers in my head or from my staff. Just this faint song that I can hear emanating from the Brosby Wood. I'm listening to it, and a warm feeling of you can just see a warm feeling of reverence on my face if you were to walk by.
Right. Then with that, Shreya and Olma, as you are on the bow of the ship, it should be morning at this point. It should be. You should be seeing the sun rising over the horizon.
Oh boy.
As you look and you can see Brosby Wood, just off to the west, you see just above it, almost like a pinpoint of light, just barely brighter than the moon, as you see the sun rising on the very last full day of the year.
Wow. Shreya, I don't think I've ever seen the sunrise on the last day before the long eve. Have you?
Only from the highest of the peaks we are headed toward. I can only recall in my youth, by myself, in a loneliness that I have very much shed now. If I had known the last time I witnessed this, that I would have discovered such love and companionship in my future, I wouldn't have felt so lonely in those times past.
We have found that, haven't we?
Yes. And this unique movement in the cosmos reminds me just how far I've come and how far we've all come together.
Yeah, that's a really good way of thinking about it. I was so down on myself for not being able to do what I did in the past, or not being able to keep it with me. You know how I celebrated the long eve? But maybe we don't have to. Maybe we can make new traditions all together.
Traditions are meant to evolve. That's one thing I've discovered from being with you all. Meant to evolve, to fit with the times. Meant to rise to what's needed. Perhaps our band of menders of this world will be the progeners of a new tradition ourselves. Yet maybe we're the only ones who can hear the whispers of it right now.
We can do this.
Yes. Yes, I believe we can.
Right, and with that, the sun rises just enough to cast the slightest warmth on whatever glowing ray you can capture yourselves as the rest of the party wakes up on the bow of the boat. And along with Shry's assistance, now that you are all waking up, you don't have any more to travel on the water, as you can see Paston steering the ship towards the side of the river as he instructs one of the orcs to head to the front of the ship. As they release an anchor, it drops as Paston lets the side plank go and release itself towards the shore. You are all free to leave the Howat Dugan.
So, how do we get back once we do what we need to do?
Let's have this conversation when we're not on the boat anymore.
I say we
leave.
I say we stay here and have a full meeting.
Yeah.
Seeker, I will drag you off this ship.
I think, as always, figure that out as we go.
We have to live first.
Well, should we pass? Are you going to be able to come back maybe after you're done dropping off whatever you need to do and wait for us? Is that something we can do or no?
I can wait for maybe a day.
He's
I
gone.
need to go and drop off my goods, but after that I can swing back around and give you as best a day as I possibly can.
Do you want to do that and then maybe we have a way back? And if we are there longer than a day, we'll just figure it out on our own?
I think a day is already treacherous. These waters are just going to get colder as the sun ceases to rise.
Paxton also let me know that there are children who very much need blankets they're delivering in the nearby town over.
Definitely
I don't know.
drop those off first, but then come back.
I can come back. It'll probably take me until tomorrow.
Fine.
All right.
Paston, can you write?
Yes.
Why did he say it? Why did he say it like that?
Do I
though?
believe him?
Make an insight check.
I twitch.
Oh my god.
That was
That is a 14.
Probably not.
Oh my God, Seeker, you can't just ask people people if they can write.
I can and I did. Okay, so here, this is ink, and if you write it, you can write out to me or to us.
I know how letters work.
Okay,
Could
perfect.
Could I
Very
go,
good.
Could I go find Prala Holiday? I'm pretty sure she can write and read because she had a list, right? She was keeping track of things out. If I could spot her.
Yeah, you can see that she's sort of made her way up and down the ship a couple times.
Seeker, love what you're doing, but maybe, and I'll point over to Prala.
And I'm like miming, like writing
I'll just put my hand
on.
on his wrist, be like, maybe Prala over there.
I know how letters work. Where should I send the sparrow to?
Definitely Prala over here. Prala, if you could swing by over here real quick.
Yeah, what do you guys need?
I think Seeker has a way to communicate. Is that what that does?
In case you can come back. Here, this ink will write on my scroll in my bag that I will check. I will check. But if you write it, it will come to me. Just say
Oh,
maybe
that's very
like if
helpful.
you can
Okay.
come back, maybe when.
Probably good to just hand that to me. I'll take that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Can he read and write?
That's probably what she's for.
Oh, hey, never mind. I get it. Okay.
He's the captain. He's my boss.
No,
We get it. You're doing great.
We
by
all
the
have
way.
fun.
You're doing amazing.
I'm trying my best here.
You're doing awesome. Don't you
Trying
worry.
my best.
Thank you for the code, by the way. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Can you write back, Seeker? I don't know how this works.
No, I cannot write. It's one way. It is just you to me.
Okay. Well, I guess just let us know when you're arriving, and then let us know if you're leaving, and then we'll know to either come down here. Or not.
Okay. Yeah, we'll drop off everything that we need to, and then when we're close, all right.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Let's. Oh, Thessaly's already off the boat.
Yeah, I didn't witness any of that because the second I realized Seeker was going to walk with Flynn to go find something, I dashed down the gangway. I was probably like dodging between orcs, like, oh, sorry. And as soon as I get to the dirt,
Excuse me.
so sorry, I'm going to go around and, okay, bye. And then once I get down there, I'm going to take out a little jar that I would like normally keep ink in, like for my drawings, take out an empty one. And I'm going to see if I can scoop up some dirt for Hayfried into this jar. Because he said that if I brought him a jar of dirt.
Love that.
Okay. You have to dig through some snow a little bit, but yeah, you get to dirt and you have a jar of dirt.
And I just pack it in. I make sure it's nice and safe. And like, that Hayfried, next time I see him.
As you stand back up, an owl, a snow owl, lands on your shoulder and nuzzles up against your face and kind of coos and.
Oh. I give her a little pat. I think he's still on the boat, Eldra.
kind of nods.
Ridiculous.
Right. Are the rest of you offloading?
I'm just gonna take a moment with Paston, with the body language of like trying to be as non-committal as possible, because Paston has a way of ensnaring people in conversation. So I kind of like my body language is like I'm leaving, but Paston, thank you kindly. I can't overstate the importance of our journey here and the expediency with which you brought us. It makes a big difference, so thank you.
Anytime I can be of service is a pleasure to me. You know, this reminds me of a time.
I can't wait to hear the story when next we meet.
Until next time, my friends.
Aye. Keep that spirit, Paston.
Hopefully I'll see you all, not tomorrow, but the next day. For our journey back.
Yeah, when the long eve starts.
Yes.
Aye.
Oh, it's gonna get cold. Stay warm, my friends.
But good to see you, Paston.
Pleasure to see you all.
Can't wait to see you again.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go give some children some blankets.
Peaceful long eve.
And a peaceful long eve to you as well. I hope you don't die. Goodbye! As the
Goodbye, Paston.
plank comes back up, he turns the ship around. You can see just as they're turning around, both of the orcs on the front of the ship are both like hand over hand pulling up the anchor themselves, like no wench, no nothing, like just
Awesome.
pulling up this massive anchor
Studs.
before the ship turns around and begins heading back down the river. So, you are all off the ship. You see that the river goes a little ways still, but at this point it's far too shallow for the Howard Dugan to continue on. So, with the river to your left, you see the mountains off to your right. You can just see sort of ahead of you, and Shrai, you would know this for sure. There is a pretty well-traveled path. You definitely would know this from the map that you all have. There's a pretty well-traveled path just ahead of you. So, what would you all like to do?
Man, doesn't sometimes kind of feel like I would have stayed on. It's fun being on that ship. It's a good captain.
I like being on a boat in general now.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me nervous, but it's kind of thrill.
I just feel like being around and gives me energy. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Being in motion and yet being able to sit still.
He is a character.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be able to meet him when he comes back.
But in order to do that, we gotta get moving. So,
Yeah.
Shreya, where are we going?
So,
Let's get going.
my suggestion would be to trace along the river as long as we can. There are some treacherous pieces of land, some cracks in the earth, so to speak. They are traps that I laid a long time ago to keep intruders from approaching the mountains. But if we follow the river, we will not encounter them, as many of them at least. We must follow the river as long as we can.
All right, well, lead the way.
And I'm going to start leading them along the river.
Okay.
We'll follow.
What time of day is it too, by the way, just so we know? We're like,
It is just the morning,
right?
but
Yeah.
it's still dark because as the sun is coming up, you notice that the sun is much smaller, much weaker. There's not very much brightness. You know that this is the very last day of the
Cool.
year
Very cool.
before the long eve. So, as you are all going, can everyone please remind me what the clothing that they got does?
Yes.
What benefits or non-benefits did they get?
I don't know if I have them, like, I have matching winter set, like a whole thing.
You didn't
I
tell
don't
him.
think you told me what it does.
I know what it does,
But I
but
have
I have
that
not
on.
told you.
But it's like a perfect
It's perfect,
set.
just like Flynn.
Yes.
Yes, right.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure I didn't get much benefit from what I got because my roll was pretty mid. Like a glorified vest, basically, is what you told me that I
You're also
got.
from here, though, right? Wouldn't
And yeah, well, I think my armor would probably give me more of a benefit
That's
than
right,
even anything
yes.
I would put over the top of it. Though whatever I put over the top of it might be comfy. I don't know.
Okay. Seeker.
I have a nice matching leather thing and snow boots that keep me from being encumbered in the snow.
That's right. So
Oh, yeah.
you all
Yeah.
notice as everyone sort of sinks down into the snow, Seeker is perched perfectly on top of the
Nice.
snow, not
I
sinking
have
an
to
inch.
click the hills to make
Oh.
these snow boots
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's cool.
activate. And
So you see Seeker clicks the heels and these snowshoes sort of expand out from underneath. They're sort of like these wood panels that come out from the bottom of the shoes. As Seeker, you are perched perfectly on top of the snow.
What?
Thessaly.
Well, since I ripped clothing when I was trying things
Yeah.
on in the void, I didn't get anything from there.
Your muscles are too big.
I just we
Must be
but,
hard.
So the only thing I have is like my usual clothing plus the coat that Flynn
The polar
got
bear
for me, the
beast
polar bear
thing,
one.
yeah.
And
like stealth, didn't you get?
I do get advantage on stealth checks in winter environments. Okay, so
Do you currently have that benefit? So
Yeah.
just keep that
but
in
it
mind.
cancels out because I usually have. So
Yeah.
it's a straight roll.
That's
Yes.
good.
Great.
Though. That's
Yes.
good.
Still pretty good.
Oma?
Oma just had warm clothes, so it was just making me at least have a standard. And then I've got the blanket, but I'm right now trying to figure out if there's a way to like fold it up and wear it like a shawl. And if I can, I'll have advantage. But if I can't, I'll just wrap it up and use
Okay.
it with my bedroll mat.
I'm going to have you make... Actually, you know what? What is your strength score?
12.
12? Okay. You can just barely hold this thing and it
Yeah.
just barely does not encumber your movement. So you are able to carry it.
Okay, then I will like wrap it around my torso, just like wear it like a shawl.
I feel the parental urge to like use the pin that's holding her cape together to like pierce it through both the shawl and the cape to
Okay.
secure it.
Nice.
That does make it a little bit easier.
I fasten it to
Okay.
her. Yeah.
So now you don't have to think about it quite as much, Oma and Kelly. what'd you
Cool.
get?
Nice.
I got a set that gives me advantage on cold
Okay.
checks.
That's right. So as you all are moving along, I'm going to have each of you make a Constitution saving throw, and I'm going to go down the line here. Flynn, you have advantage.
Okay.
Shreya, it's a straight roll. You have advantage, Seeker. Thessaly is a straight roll.
All right.
Olma has advantage, and Kellic has advantage.
Are we all within 10 feet of me?
Yeah.
Then we
Oh,
all get
wow.
+5.
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
Okay, so for Flynn, at advantage, I got a Constitution saving throw of 26.
Okay. Flynn, you're good for now.
Cool.
Shreya,
How much was that benefit?
+5.
plus
+5.
Okay. So I rolled a crit fail, but
Oh.
if I add my con, which is 2, and then the 5 to that, that's 8.
Okay. Shreya.
Oof.
We've been gone too long.
Shreya, you take 9 points of cold damage.
Ooh.
You see me like vibrating and just clicking my beak, and under if anyone who might be within a few feet of me would just hear,
The Southlands have made me soft.
as I continue to
All right.
make
Seeker,
my
what'd
way
you
up.
21.
get? 21, you're fine. Thessaly.
Just an 11.
An 11. Thessaly, you take 6 points of cold
Oh,
damage.
jeez.
All right.
Olma, what'd you get?
22.
Olma, you're good. Kellic.
24.
Kellic, you're good. Okay. As you are all moving, you have the map.
Mhm.
Who is going to be leading? Who's going to be doing directions?
I'm gonna take breaks between being on the ground and also scouting from the air because I don't want us to fall in or come into contact with any of the traps I'd laid before in my past.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have you make a survival check, Shreya, and I'm going to have that be at advantage. You
All
know
right.
this area very well.
Yes.
You know where the traps are.
Nice.
So,
Nope, don't want that one. There we go.
Oh, that's where I left that.
Do that all the time. Don't step there. Actually, it's
Yeah,
this
literally.
way.
Oh, wait.
There we go.
Look left, look right.
Dirty 21.
Dirty 21.
Nice.
Okay. So Shreya, with you knowing this land very well, it's a little bit challenging at first just because of all of the snow. You're not as familiar with this environment at this time of year, because normally at this time of year, you'd sort of be huddled up at home. But you are able to, on the ground, in the air, make your way around these traps, along the riverbed, and the river eventually does come to an end. You can see ice beginning to form over more and more of it, but before it all becomes ice, before it becomes layered over with snow, before you can't even see the river anymore. But eventually you make it to this main road.
Before we pass by like the last of my most insidiously laid traps, I call the group over to just the edge of where the trigger zone of it is.
Everyone over here, I want to show you something.
And I call everybody over. And you can see, like, poking out above the snow, just these, like, blue blades of crabgrass that kind of sway in the wind, almost like blue flames.
If you listen closely, you can hear voices softly chanting. If you listen to them enough, they tempt you over to where the grass sways. And then, if you step near the grass, you are pulled down into a fissure in the earth. But we're not going to go any closer, so we won't have any trouble with that.
Wait. The grass pulls you down into the earth?
Yes, it seems very pleasant at first, but then it is not so pleasant after that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty terrible.
Doesn't seem
horrifying.
pleasant even to begin with to me.
Well, if you listen,
And then again, as I go quiet, you can just hear the chanting of almost like a Fey siren song, if you listen closely enough. And then,
but let's not listen for too much time.
Well, I like that song.
Flynn,
What?
do you need to hold my hand?
Why?
Because you're getting way too close to the grass that Shreya just said was going to pull you
I'm
under.
not gonna do anything.
This is mainly for knowledge purposes, Flynn. We don't need to get any closer now.
But what if, like, we just dropped up an item on it? Would it show us what it does, but we'd be safe?
It's meant to pick up on life. So unless you have a
Oh.
being that holds a life force that you would want to condemn like that, but I don't think we do. So,
Okay. I just wanted to see what it looked, what it did. Sounded cool. Sounds cool. It'd also be good to test it to make sure it works.
Trust me, it works.
Okay, all right, fine. Let's keep going.
I trust Shreya.
Shreya, why did your people lay traps like this? This is a sort of unorthodox way to draw a boundary line around territory.
Well, for all of the rejections my tribe gave me, the one thing anyone like me had in common was that we could speak to the forces and the powers of the nature of this plane, of this world. We were useful to them. Useful at repelling invaders. Mostly dwarven in kind. And yes, our usefulness made us eventually indispensable as the numbers of dwarves grew greater in number. So these traps were necessary.
So, it's not to protect your people's land, but to protect the land itself.
Well, we do believe that the area that is our tribal domain is very much ours, but we also believe that the earth that supports us and surrounds this area is also one to protect. And what we'd seen of these Kaldurian dwarves is that they had no regard for nature in her natural state. It seemed that nature was simply a tool for them, a shell to break through and extract something from. And as I discovered in my own explorations after I'd been condemned and excommunicated from the tribe, there are forces under the ground in this area of this world that holds great power indeed. That only the tip of, only the edge of your perceptions can hear the outer shell of.
And then I get quiet again, and then if you listen closely, this time if you hear the sound of the sort of muffled Fey sounds, these siren songs, you hear at the core of these vibrations a gentle just tickle on your ear, a very pleasant tickle on your ear that makes you think of reflecting snowflakes, crystals in motion, as if there were crystals in motion pinging your eardrums and vibrating that sensation all the way through your body, through your bones.
Yes, there it is. The very edge of which we can perceive. But that I've come to know.
And then I lean the crystal to my forehead.
Okay.
Shreya,
Yes.
how do you want us to go in? Because it sounds like your relationship with your remaining kin is a little bit tenuous and
Strained.
yes,
Yeah.
that's a good word, thank you. And I'm just wondering, should we try to be stealthy? Do you want to talk to them again? Do you want to try to make them see reason? What are you hoping for? What should we do?
Well, I have no way of knowing the place they've gone to in these months since I've been gone from them. It's hard for me to say. There's a current that's run through them that when I was forced to leave, it was much too much for me to tolerate anymore. There became an obsession that ran through them, an obsession to return to the air. The elemental plane whispered to those of them that thought they were the purest, and they thought the winds themselves from the elemental plane would cleanse them of all wrongdoing, but the wind would set you free. That the winds became their master. And in many ways, the legends foretold that one day we would all return there. That one day we'd return to that place. But their reverence became a sort of zealotry, an idolatry. And I would say, more than anything else, we approach them with great caution. Because, much like any kind of obsession, what beings will do to defend that obsession may not just be unreasonable. It may be fatal.
Also, there were dark blades that were sent, so like keep an eye out for really spooky, scary assassins. Because, yeah, they're also like on the way.
It's probably safe to assume that, if not having beaten us here, there may have already been members of the Order of the Red Wolf among the ranks of the tribe that pulling the strings, manipulating this group to pursue this avenue to its furthest extent. And if we don't approach that delicately, we could find ourselves in combat with more than just the Red Wolf folks.
That was my thought. So do we want to approach things my way very directly, or do we want to do things Seeker's way where we're sneaky?
How about this? As we approach, there is no getting around them. There is no sneaking up on them. They occupy some of the tallest peaks of this world. I think a direct approach, with our full force in front of us, may be what's best, in fact.
And I wave my my staff in a etching motion, and you see the almost like sparklers. Like I'm writing with sparklers very quickly a symbol that is my name, only in the tribal symbol, and it briefly flashes and then poofs out of existence.
When we approach, I will write that, only much larger, in the sky, above where I know my tribal home to be. Then they will know that I am coming. They will not know that I'm bringing you all with me.
Do you think, and this is just a question, do you think it would be wise to do a mixture, right? So I'm not saying we try to sneak in, I'm just saying maybe we sneak about what our intentions are, right? So we do go forward and we all go forward, but maybe we're there to help. And maybe we want to help them in whatever tool they want to do. And then we can just figure it out on the other side, what we do to resolve the situation. But then we're not walking right into an ambush, because they do have the high ground, and we want to make sure that they don't take us all out before we even get there.
I like that idea a lot, because if we were there to help them, and especially if we're trying to help them toward their highest goal, then I think we might have a chance of achieving our own purposes. However, in order for us to be believable in our guise, I'll need to tell you all a little something. Legends that were passed down to me. I'll need to let you know about the true nature of the elemental plane of air.
And that is where we're going to end it. We are going to call the episode right there. Thank you all so much for listening.
But I want to know!
And we can't wait to see you all again next week. Bye, nerds.
Bye,
Nerds!
Hey, nerds. If you liked that episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe across all platforms. We'll see you next week.